man, oh man. Whew. Wow. I still get the jitters. I've been doing this for a while, and every time I go live, I just get all weird. It's crazy. It's so good to see you guys. Oh, it's been a long time since we've done one of these, and I'm hoping to fix that here in the future. I feel like I've said that before, and I've kind of done this where I do live streams and then I, take a break, but I'm super glad to be back. A lot of you guys already in the chat. I see some of our members, so it's super great to see you guys. We've got Robert, going back to the top, Momo, Nero Young, Eric Smalling. How's it going, Eric? Undercover Potato, Corey, Chris, Nathan, Bovin, Daniel Moore. How's it going, Daniel? Good to see you, man. And I saw somewhere in here we've got at least a couple members. Bung Bob's Wild World. What else we got here? That may have been the only one I saw there. So it's good to be here. It's good to be going live again. So I'm not going to make any promises, but I really want to get back to doing this. I've been thinking about you guys and hanging out for months now. Just with COVID and everything, I'm sure everyone's kind of in the same boat, but man, do I miss, just chatting, just hanging out. We'll also do some Q&A, do some updates, what's going on, what videos are coming up on the channel. And I know it's definitely been a little quiet here, so I'm hoping to get loud here on YouTube again. Going back to weekly videos starting Tuesday of next week. So I've got a rig video. Actually, I should have had it with me. That would have been smart, huh? But it's good to see you guys. Where do I even start? If you have any questions, definitely let them roll in. I'm going to do a couple updates here at the beginning. I know people are going to get asked, so I'm just out of the gate going to tell you everything you see here visually. This is the same setup with a couple tweaks, of course, that I did in that video. I think it's in the description. I put it in the description. The ultimate video setup, live streaming desk build studio room. So that's the same thing I'm using right now. So if you're curious, what's going on visually, that's pretty much exact the same. The lighting's the same. I've added some color back there, changed the background just a little bit, and then added a monitor, changed the microphone, a couple little things like that. But that's what's going on. We're still using the Canon RP with the RF 35mm. And then over here on camera 2, which is just the table right now, this is a Canon. I switched from the Sony to the Canon M50 so that I can show things like this, which is the display unit for the upcoming A10 mini case that we're working on and going to be selling. So that'll be fun. What else do we got here? Pretty much the same as before. If I need to, I can go over, show my, monitor display. So if you're curious about how all of that works, and I just screwed up that switch, you can check out that video in the description and see what's going on. It's a really long video, but pretty much the same setup I've been using here. So let's jump in the chat, shall we, and see what is going on. We've got Eric Smalling. Welcome. New supporter. Sick. Or you? No, you're already a supporter, right? I see that's the yummy badge. Good to see ya. Family grew, right? From Linda. Yes. So we have one more in the old house, and she's doing great. Man, it's really nice when you have a baby that's just a little angel. So my first two, mainly my second, love her to pieces. She's the best. But as an infant, she was a bit much. So the newest edition, she's ridiculously chill. I think 1 or 2 times a night we're getting up with her. My wife's managing the wee hours, and I take the early morning shift. So yeah, things are going well. Thank you guys all for the support and for all the nice things you guys said. What is the mic? What is on the mic connector right here? So this is just an Audio-Technica AT2020. If you're interested in these kind of microphones, I've got a really wild project. I kind of teased it on YouTube. I did a story. If you're subscribed, you guys probably saw it on your phones or whatever. But I've got a very interesting, I might get in trouble for this video, but I can't wait to share it with you guys. So it ought to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned. How are you guys doing? Somehow it dropped off, so I re-upped. Oh, okay. Cool, Eric. Well, thank you for coming back. Let's see. Lights flickering in the back. Yes, that is a DIY, like, modded old fixture that I put LED strips in. And I think the dimmer I used, it's not happy. So we're going to have to fix that one of these days. What else we got here? Great budget mic. Yeah, Jake, awesome mic. Really enjoying it. I like the form factor too. It's nice. Good to see you again. Greetings from Cancun. Thanks, Adriano. What's your opinion on conservative filmmaking? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Robbie, but definitely let me know. Lights in the back are flickering a little bit. Yep, definitely a thing. I'm going to have to address that. What's funny is I've been doing streams over on Jem Schofield's channel every single Wednesday, so if you want to get really nerdy, that's an awesome place to go. And we just kind of, it's pretty much a live Skype hangout between me and my two bros over there. And no one's said anything. I do a live stream. Immediately people are like, flickering light. So I love it. Love the attention to detail. Is that the P300 in the background? No. You talked about the orange. That is just a cheap LED Fresnel. I talked about it's a Came TV light, so it's in that video that's in the description. I just put gels. Believe it or not, old-fashioned gels. They still work great. Good to see you too, Shazam. How you doing, man? Missed ya. Yesterday, actually. I don't think you were there, were you? Question. I'm going to try to stay in line here now, folks, and not jump all over the place. This is Jake. Did I guess right about what you were building? Custom XLR boom pole? No. It has something to do with this style of microphone, and a very, very popular and expensive version. I'm probably giving too much away, but 3D printing and microphones and modding and DIY. That's kind of what's going on. Good to see you again. Okay, ask 2 nerdy questions. Your favorite budget slider between the Shark Slider Nano and the GVM, and your favorite recorder, F6 or Sound Devices Mix Pre 3. The first question, I don't know if I can answer. I have used the Shark Slider Nano, the original version. I think they have a newer version now. I would tend to lean toward that, but I gotta say I haven't really tried GVM stuff. So take that with a grain of salt. With the recorders, hands down, Sound Devices. It's just Zoom's cool, and I like Zoom recorders. That's what I started with, but I mean, Sound Devices is kind of, the best. I have a Mix Pre 3 Mark I, and it's a beast. It's a complete, utter beautiful thing. Everything about it. If you haven't tried one, maybe if NAB happens this October, which it looks like it will, I'd love to know if you're going, get your hands on one, because it's really, really something else. It's like going from, a $500 camera to, I don't know, hardware-wise, like a Red. It's just really, really nice to work with, and it sounds great. It has a ton of great features. Let's see. Love Cameron Flask. Thanks, Travis. Greetings from New Zealand. Nice. Rolly. Learned about your videos. A lot from your videos really helped accelerate my small business. Glad to hear it, Patrick. Also, I'd love to know of everyone here, just really interesting kind of chat poll, if you will. Let me know what you guys do. So are you guys filmmakers, other YouTubers primarily, in another field, and you're just learning about video from the channel? I've tried to do this. I need to do this more often. I want to make sure I'm, helping you guys out with what you need. And I'm always interested, because you never know. Like, for years, I thought I was mainly making videos for filmmakers. Turns out almost every single one of them were YouTubers instead of, your typical filmmaker type. So that's fun. All right. Chat, man, YouTube's really got to fix this chat thing. I've been gone for a year. It's just as bad as it was when I left. All right. Good grief. Let's scroll up here. Nice AirPods. Thank you. I hate the way they look on camera, but there's really nothing else like it, to be able to just walk around the room. And I converted the desk to standing, by the way. That's one thing I left out. So same setup, but now it's standing. Good to see you. We did that, so I'm going down a little bit. Oh, the chat is just pushing me to the very end every single time. 3D printing, a homebrew, use 87. Well, I have to wait and see, Travis. All of your studios tutorials and setup builds are amazing. Thanks, Bert. Got a few more kind of in the works there. Cloud lifter, nope. How should I stabilize the Lumix G7? You could use weight or a gimbal. Oh my goodness, I may have to jump down. It's like worse than it was before. MacGyver watches you. And thanks, Bob. You should try Maker Pipe for your DIY projects. Good stuff and would make good videos. You should try some Maker Pipe. I'll have to check that out. I don't know what that is. YouTuber, wedding films. Okay, here we go with the stuff. DP motion control, tech YouTuber. Got a Pocket 4K. What should I spend money on? Field recorder or field monitor, cage with a top handle, or LED light? I mean, the LED light, if you're talking about for your camera, that's a good question. If you don't have a lot of lights, I'd start there. Lighting is that. Here's the thing, right? So since I started, gear is out of control, right? So back in my day, I sound like such an old fart when I say that. It's only 10 years ago. Like for rigs, there was only like Zacuto and Red Rock, and minimum $500 to get into something like that. These days, it's out of control. Like LED lighting, that didn't start until a year or two after I got into doing this channel and running my blog at the time. And I mean, for LEDs, it was really, really bad. They're all just straight magenta. It almost looked like an RGB light. Now they're so cheap, but so everyone can buy gear. Like if you look back at my original videos, if you sort my videos by oldest, the first videos just look horrible because none of us had an Aperture 120D. None of us had these amazing lights we have now. We were all having to use lights that might burn our house down, and even then they weren't bright enough. So the thing that's going to separate, I think, anyone today from the rest of the crowd is going to be your lighting, hands down. People can buy cheap, good gear and get some good looking stuff, but if you can learn lighting, and you don't have to spend a lot to do that these days, that's going to be a huge differentiator between you and other people. Thanks, Mr. Camera Junkie. DIY builds are the best. Such an inspiration. Nice. Let's see. Scroll down here. $5 donation from Philip Curry. Hey, just wanted to say thank you for all you do. Your videos have helped me out tremendously over the years. Philip, thank you so much. I'm happy to be of service. Thanks for joining and for the donation. That means a lot. Who the hell dislikes the stream? There's always one or two or five. Instructor, shooter, editor. Okay. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of educational stuff since 2020 happened. A lot of educational industry folk have been emailing me and whatnot and chatting. VR content creator. Wow. I'm going to have to check that out. Virtual reality check. Thanks for putting out the cart video build. Super cool. Any details you can share on the beefier version of it? I'm wanting to build one for work and could use something heavier duty from Christian. Okay, so the deal with that, and I don't know when I'll be able to get to that video, but in short, 2 pieces of plywood and speed rail to build a cart. And I'm going to make this like out of control cart, 10 to 12 inch pneumatic wheels that can be, tear down and fold up, and then plans for how you can build it. But I don't know when that's going to happen. But that's the goal, is essentially the video I already did, but a monster cart that can hold a lot more weight, and you can, mount C-stands to and do crazy stuff like that. A photographer, student, freelancer. Cool. Corporate video for government. Nice. Yeah, so then in my next video, Gabriel was mentioning the Pocket 4K rig. So the next Tuesday, I have built what I'm calling the perfect rig. So that's coming out Tuesday. Really excited that one. It's essentially everything I've learned over 10 years packed into the most compact, the most efficient, not overkill, just right rig for your camera. Cool. So that's super helpful, guys. Thank you for letting me know what you guys kind of do. It's a little mix of everything, which I love. Dr. Davis, going to start a YouTube channel soon about aspects of medicine. Love it. I've learned so much from your videos. Just started making videos on mental health. Okay, sweet. Have used your G5 guide. It's been so super helpful, or so helpful. Great. Hey, love it. Shoot us a link when you get the channel up. A local service business who does podcasting. Nice. I've not checked in recently, but his podcasting's still like boom, 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 going nuts. Unemployed story filmmaker. Cool. I'd like to go to NAB, but it butts up with VidCon. Yeah, there's so many. We were talking about this last night on Camera and Flash. There's so many things colliding at the same, roughly the same time at the end of the year. It's crazy. College biology professor adding science video to my classes and the public. So good. College professor. Here we go. I love it. Creative director for a church. I vlog for fun. Awesome, Jonathan. Remember me? We went to different schools together. I don't know if you're talking to me or someone else, Steve. We're in real estate. Yep, a lot of real estate, folks. Cool. So, any questions this week, guys? Anything you want to chat about? Anything in the news you want to talk about? Let's do it. I was thinking about naming this show, or at least going forward, like the video helpline. Just if anyone has questions, it's a great place because I don't even know how many emails a week of people asking questions and for consultations. And I try not to take away time from the channel because, as you can already tell, it's hard enough getting a video out a week. But I want this to kind of become a new way for me to help folks out, is just spend an hour, bang through a bunch of stuff there. Oh boy, looks like I missed some things. Yes, YouTube's live chat needs to get better. On the watcher, Furworks, dude. Look at you. Oh, look at that. Member 2 years. Oh, it's so good. Good to see you, man. It does need to get better. It's horrible, especially on the live streaming end, as you know for sure. I saw a donation here. $5 Midland Pictures, video production company in Omaha. YouTuber just hit 10 subs. Former Chicago-lander. Nice. Thanks, man. Appreciate the $5. And Chicago, love it. How's the weather up in Omaha? Oof. It's not that far, right? Are you 100% YouTube income-wise? If you're talking to me, yes. I'm trying to remember. Let me think about this. In 2015 was the last paid video gig I took. And I think it was the only one I took for the year. It's kind of like, you got those clients where you have like a big project every year that kind of is a repeatable. Back when that was a thing. I don't know if that's still what's happening, but I did that last one, and I was like, you know what? It's time to commit to the program. But yeah, so it's been however many years, 6, 7, full time. And then, before that, I was not doing too much work. Hello from Russia. Thank you for the dope videos. YouTuber magician. Nice. Good luck. Nice, Nero. What monitor do you use for the director or client? So, I was too broke, or I could never commit to like spending a ton of money on a production monitor. So what I used back in the day before we had, a billion options from all these Chinese companies, I used just a Dell 27-inch with, some, I think it was a 4K 27-inch monitor, and that worked great. Software developer. Okay. Right on. So let's scroll down here. I hate doing this, guys. So constantly apologizing for the chat, but I'll be reading and it just jumps, and I have to go back down. You've probably heard other people talk about this. How do I like the Prusa? I love Prusa printers, 3D printers. I can't remember when I bought my first one, but it was right when the Mark III came out. We now have several Mark III S's, S Plus, whatever they're at now. Really great stuff. I want some of their new minis, though. Let's see. Do you think the A12 would work with the teleprompter? So I don't think it will. It might, but it might be really tight. So one thing I have found, it won't flip the image, but if you go to eBay or AliExpress or Amazon, you should be able to find like a 10 and a half inch display. It looks a lot like those Lilliputs, but they're just basic. It's like for a Raspberry Pi 1080p, but that would get you started, and they're like $100, 50 to 150 or something. Really affordable, but they don't come with all the cool features like, in and out for your HDMI or stuff like that. Okay. Money truck driver for a major camera manufacturer. I love it. Monaco, full-time photographer, videographer who tunes in for great reviews on new products. Nice. Yeah, I haven't done a review in a long time, too. That's another thing I've kind of stopped doing. That one's a little more intentional. But I might get back into that a little bit if we get some interesting stuff coming out. Use your studio approach, stand approach for today. Keynote speaker for a virtual event today. She loved it. You made me look like a genius. Nice. Love it. So good. Beginner YouTuber, simple wildlife bird videos. Cool. All right. Okay, so Rick says, hey, I've got a Shure SM7B and a Go XLR for streaming, but want to add a shotgun mic for my YouTube videos. Do they sell splitters so I can toggle between them, between one mic or the other? That's a good question. You'd probably want to jump into an audio forum. Surely it's out there. I know they make that for like monitor speakers. For microphones, that's a good question though. Any recommendations, chat? Anything you guys can think of to help Rick out? That's a good question. I'd have to think about that one. Maybe shoot me an email. Day trader in Sweden. That sounds pretty sick, David. That sounds like a good life. Slow-mo question. Sometimes I get a bit jittery footage when panning, especially when reviewing 100 frames interpreted 25. It's shot 120 degree. Yeah, all your specs should be good, Daniel. Maybe just play around with, do some testing, try a little more than 100, mess with your shutter. Sometimes that's just one of those, pour yourself several glasses of beer and just settle in for a whole bunch of testing. Could you do another F3 video? Okay, yes. Getting excited? Oh, grading, etc. F3 video. So you talk about like the old cinema cameras. More of those are coming. There are 3, I think, on the other side of this wall that are upcoming. So it should be fun. Linda says spend money on lighting, audio, lenses, camera in that order. Nice. Timothy, janitors are not lowly. And on that note, Timothy says, I'm just a lowly janitor. Dude, service industry and the construction industry, you can make 6 figures doing that these days because no one wants to do it. No one wants to work. Do you experience IBIS issues on the XT3-4? Unusable for video without stabilizing a post. Interesting. I haven't had that problem. I don't think it's as good as like Panasonic, but Jem Schofield might know. My buddy Jem, he's a huge Fuji fan. Okay, I'm going to hop down a little bit, guys, here. I'm scanning for questions. Maybe if you have a question, tag me, at DSLR Video Shooter. Excuse me. And we'll get to those. How excited are you for the GH6? That way I can kind of find the questions in the chat. I'm very excited for the GH6. I don't think it's going to have good autofocus, but I'm really hoping. Missed you too, Shinzi. Came for the DIY, got hooked on the filmmaking. Nice, Chris. R6 thinking about moving to the Pocket 6K Pro. Is it worth the move? It all comes down to autofocus. I can get over the ergonomics, but if you can't live without good autofocus for video, you're going to be upset or unhappy. Great to be back, Baron. Hey, Baron, what's going on, man? Good Ninja 5 cheaper alternatives. There's a ton out now. I would say look at Feel World, Best View, Desk View, however that, I can't remember how you pronounce that. Those are some good brands that are really affordable, really, really good. Unless you're talking about recorders. And Matthias Skoog, I hope I said that right. 30 SEK. Thank you so much. I don't know what currency that is, but it doesn't matter. I'm glad you're here. And looks like you have a question here. Have you been using the Sennheiser ATX? You have been using the wireless ATX system for 2 years, but now feel I have reliability issues. Looking into higher end Electrosonics. Woo! Is it really worth the huge price jump? Sennheiser AVX, is that like the G4, G5, whatever they're on series? The AVX isn't, I'm not latching out of the bat, but the Electrosonics, they are worth it, right? So it's kind of like buying a car. If you need to go to the store every once in a while and buy a bag of salt for your water softener. Yes, I just used that analogy. I'm 32 years old. You can use your car. You can use a Camry. You could go out and buy an F250 for $100,000 with a high trim level, but you don't need it. So the Electrosonics is kind of like that. We were talking about this actually last night on the stream over at Jem's channel, and how Electrosonics is like, if you're gonna, who plays Tony Stark? I'm struggling right now. Robert Downey Jr. If you're gonna mic up Robert Downey Jr., he's gonna go off into the sunset on a boat with water spraying on him. Electrosonics, someone of that caliber, you want to make sure you have a good mic. So definitely, it's one of those things. If you buy it, it's going to be really expensive, but you're probably not going to have issues with that going forward. Can't wait for the monster carts. Yes, I can't wait for it too, Mr. Camera Junkie. With COVID restrictions hit, I had 5 days to move from teaching at a college to doing it from home. Built a desk following your original desk. Studio setup. Nice. I'm so glad. I'm really glad that video was out for people, not because yay views, but I was kind of out as well, so it's good I'm glad there was an option for people to start figuring that stuff out. Oh boy, boys and girls, I'm behind. I'm gonna jump a little further down. Love the streams. Thanks, Jules Tech. Got to do more of them. Maybe next Wednesday. Maybe I'll schedule it right after this. We can see you guys next week as well. Question: is anyone experiencing Premiere Pro graphics color corrections? I'm not. I'm a Final Cut guy, but if you're in the chat and you can help Samantha out, please do so. What mic are you using? AT2020. Time to level up Ecamm Live so you can handle these comments. You know what? That's what I'm using right now, but I scheduled it on YouTube, so I'm not using the comments thing. I'm like scared to use Ecamm scheduling for some reason, but maybe I should try it. Nice, Ryland. Very cool to hear about your channel, and thanks for the kind words. David dropping $20. I need to get my donation explosion graphics back, but hopefully we can do that. Thank you so much for the $20. He says, built my YouTube setup via the rolling C-stand. It's been game-changing. Upgraded to the MKH416 yesterday with Sound Devices Mix MM1. Is that what you're trying to say? But there's still hum. Turns out it was from the light's internal fan vibrations on some stand. Wow. That's crazy, but that's a good setup, dude. Love it. Do you think I can light up a talking heads with 4 aperture MCs? It all depends on the room you're in and what camera gear you're using. So if you're in a pitch black room, probably fine. And if if your camera's not going to be too noisy, totally doable, I would imagine. If you're in a room with a huge window somewhere in the room, those aren't going to cut it. But yeah, love it. Love those MCs. Man, they're so good. Thoughts on the A7R3 in 2021? I never bought or really used the A7R series. I was always turned off by the fact that full frame performance wasn't as good, or you're paying more for a camera that I'm not a big stills guy. So that's a question I'll leave up to the chat there. AD Banff 13. Nice. FS5 or Panasonic S5? That's a really interesting question. For me, I would say it comes down to ND. The S5 is a sweet camera. I would probably use that as my main camera if I didn't already own an S1. But the FS5 ND, man, that's a good life over there. Thoughts on the Zoom H5 versus H6? I couldn't really tell you much of the differences. It's been a long time, but there's some channels like Curtis Judd who could totally hook you up with a great answer. Hey man, you should do a video on home office setups using DSLR cameras. I know there's a ton of these already, but you can bring your own unique flavor. So I've kind of already done that with a lot of the videos. Recently, I did one like a $2,000 desk setup. That's pretty much what I would recommend today. But yeah, there's definitely more videos coming on that. I've got 2 more desk rigs that I purchased on Amazon that we're going to talk about. Matt Gray, $5, just another $5. Or another $5 for just not doing this with another $5 just for not doing this with the C47 sick face, nauseated face. Well, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. How you doing, dude? Matt Gray is one of the OGs. I think we were chatting on Twitter long before all of this madness. So it's good to see you, man. Do you think? Oh, we talked about that. TMP 100 versus 500. I'd have to look those up. I'm not familiar with the 500, but it all comes down to size for me. I don't care about any of the features unless you're going to be tearing it down and moving it around a lot. I just think the size and what screen you can fit into it. I love for someone to come out with like a 21-inch model, some big thing that I can slide a huge display into that is affordable, but those are like $2,000, I feel like, so that's too bad. Let's see. How do you balance life with kids and work? I'm finding I'm finding a super tough time with being a father, having to leave the kids with the wife weeks on end. Any tips, advice? Great question, Brandon. And I actually did a live stream with my wife years ago, which you can check out on the channel. Just look for the thumbnail with my wife, who at the time had pink hair. But in short, it's all about expectations and time management. So for me and my wife, she doesn't work. She does stuff on the side, but she can work from home. And then I do this now outside of the house here at a different space outside of the home. And so, but even when I was working at home, which I know a lot of people just say they can't do, it all came down to expectations. So I have expectations. She has expectations. Got to have those lined up. So for us, what we did is, even though I'm a freelancer and I can, work at night and midnight, and that's when I'm most creative and all that, what I consider is a little silly, you got to lock down a schedule. So for us, I work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. That's it. Everything shut down before and after that. No weekends. I think I stay an hour late on Wednesdays when I'm doing a stream with my bros, but that's it. So when you have that, she knows, okay, it's working time. He's going to do his thing. And then she also knows, and the kids know, when I'm home, I'm home. Weekends are totally free. So I would say that's critical. And then both of you have to support whatever it is. Both of you have to stick to it and be behind it. So great question. Really tricky, especially when life's kind of nuts and, schedules are all over, or both of you are working and there's just a lot to juggle. But I would try to come up with something that you both are excited about and you both can stick to and support each other. We already talked about that. What's going on with this chat situation? I feel like such an old man. I feel like I'm on TikTok right now trying to figure out which way to swipe or whatever that yellow app is. It's bad, folks. Okay. Maybe I'm seeing double here. I need to go down here. Here we go. Okay, so now the chat is jumping way up to older stuff. So that's really strange. Are we still live here? Yeah. Okay. So now everything just changed and updated. So I'm going to scroll back up. Unbelievable. Okay, Jeremy, I'm just going to pick a spot here and jump in. What is your use case for your wireless mics? Oh, we're talking about maybe a previous question. Macbox recommendations for 4x565 filters. I gave up on Macbox years ago, but I would say the Tilta stuff. Oh, well, of course, Bright Tangerine's the best. I would just go with that if you can afford it. Otherwise, Small Rig now has one. Tilta now has one. that are really lightweight. Do you know, have a good power bank that can be used as a base plate, preferably screw on? Not a USB one. I know there's options out there. I think Gerald Undone may have done a video on it actually. Some kind of USB option. So maybe check out his channel. P.S. started watching your videos because in the first video of yours I watched, you mentioned by name someone that I sort of know. Corbin Tyson. Yeah, Corbin's a super close friend. Love that guy. He's a beautiful person. Best compact V-mount battery. Tuesday's video I talk about one. I think the best budget version is the Came TV models. They're like $145. I've got several of them. Love them. Do you think I can? We covered the MC question. Electrosonics is the best. Yes. Best 26-volt mount batteries. I've not played with those yet. But thank you for the kind words, Keith. When do you think Micro Four Thirds will die off? When companies or I don't know, when people stop buying them. That's probably what'll happen when the market says no more. DSLR no more video shooter with a cheap lenses on the Panasonic 1.8. Do you think vintage lenses are still a good investment? Absolutely. A lot of vintage lens content coming up on the channel. Preferred cable for audio, video, USB, cable brand? Not really. Also, I think oh, they're experiencing buffering. Wonder why that is. Well, let me know if you guys are having issues with the stream. YouTube's telling me something's wrong. Cable brands. Let me just jump down here. I think we're still good. Okay. Cable brands. No, I don't really have an affinity or loyalty. I have found over the years there's certain cables I go back to. Right now, I'm really loving those monoprice cables, those slim monoprice cables on Amazon. Love those for cameras. I just try to avoid really cheap stuff, especially for audio. Let's see. What mic am I using? AT2020. Do you think in 5 years that DSLRs will be obsolete, and what are your expectations for the Canon R3? I've got no expectations. All I want from Canon is to release something like the R5, the R6 that is like what we all thought it was before they came out. And I'm ready. My body is so ready to go back to Canon. I can't even tell you. It's ridiculous. GH5 Mark II or S5. S5, unless you need the smaller form factor. Parent of incoming 7th grader, what inexpensive light can I purchase for her to do her own online classes and be well lit? A lot of light mats I really like, or just get a small light and bounce it off the wall. If there's a white wall or a white piece of art you could put on the wall, that works great. How much do you love Final Cut on the M1? I don't have an M1, so I couldn't tell you. But yeah, interesting. Good to hear that it's working for you, Seth. Any news about the Ariel Lexus Mini Super 35 in 2021? I don't have any news, but I would love to play with one someday. Will you change your name to Mirrorless Video Shooter if DSLRs become obsolete? No. I'm going to stick with it until it comes all the way back around and it's as cool as VHS is. Or the idea, or tapes, vinyl, whatever. It's just too much work. I mean, you do that and you're going to guarantee, everything to get tanked when it comes to views, when it comes to everything. So I'm just not going to mess with it. I'm too lazy and too scared. How come you go with an on-camera mic for the live stream, not a shotgun microphone? Thanks for your videos. Because they're cheap and you're talking about for the setups I've talked about. Usually it's because they sound really good and they're affordable. That's kind of what I've been going with. And, voice professionals use shotgun microphones up close. So, 3.5 millimeters is just easier to deal with than XLR in some cases. Can you schedule it on YouTube and connect via eCam? I don't know. Are you saying you can't? Oh, you can do that. Okay, Mr. Junkie, Mr. Camera Junkie. I gotta try that then. Do you think am I crazy? Am I seeing the same aperture MC light? Question. Yes, you can use 4 in the right room with the right light. You could totally use 4 to light make a light out of. Worth buying the PD Movie Air wireless follow focus system. Any view on that product? I prefer the Nano system from Tilta. Let's see. $20 donation from Nat Wallen. What's going on, Nat? Good to see you. Nat and I have been chatting. I almost said offline, but still online. Good to see you. Glad you made it, man. What do you think of the Canon R5 Adamus Ninja 5 for recording 8K RAW? Do you think it's a game changer? I'm already kind of over the whole Ninja RAW thing. I'm more interested in Blackmagic RAW, unless something drastically changes with, Adamus. I think it's great. I definitely think it's cool. But I think right as companies start like, yeah, external RAW, baby, we're all over here like, oh, 422 10-bit internal low bit rate. Looks pretty good. So we're all, or at least people I've talked to, we're all still shooting on that instead of dealing with a RAW workflow. But as soon as Blackmagic RAW starts working in Final Cut, I am so there, so ready for that. Thank you for all you do for the community. Love your work. Recently sold my TriCaster for A10 Mini, building out a case. Nice. Love it, Dean. 90D versus C100 Mark II, C100 Mark II all day. Nope, won't change the name. Would you like to see tutorials on how to deinterlace up-res SD footage? Been working with archival footage in a while. Interesting. Yeah, that's a very interesting topic. Best budget USB mic check. Curtis Judd's videos. I think he's got it's like a handheld mic with a USB coming out of it. Super straightforward. Built the A10 Mini base full YouTube desk. It's been awesome. Removed the friction and painful setup. Thank you so much. You're so welcome, Nat. Glad you're enjoying the setup. What 3D software do you use to make your internal corner sections for the A10 Mini? So if obviously Fusion 360 is great. It's $500 though. So you can use a website called Tinkercad. I love it because if you have an idea and you have no interest in learning 3D modeling, you can just get up and running and immediately have something you can 3D print, which is awesome. A6400 still good value for YouTube desk work. Yes, that's great. The M50 is cheaper, but it's just not. It's just so sloppy looking, which is too bad. But the color looks nice. So yeah, A6400 is good. I have a 4K camera but no 4K monitor. In what order should I purchase a monitor? In what order should I purchase a monitor? Tripod, Rode Wireless Go for audio. I wouldn't worry too much about a 4K monitor for your 4K camera unless you're going big. That makes a huge difference. Yeah, Rode, I mean, if you need to try just whatever one you think you need, I would say, out of that list you sent me. Rode Wireless Go is gold. Got a video coming up on that as well. Fun stuff. What was your best and worst buy, William? Best and worst buy. I was actually kind of thinking about. That's a tough one. Recently, my best buy was the Rhino slider, the automated. Why is it leaving me? The Shark. No. Wow, Caleb. The big boy Rhino Arc 2, the Rhino Arc 2, that has been a money maker here on the channel because I can automate my B-roll stuff. Back in the day, and something I still have is that Manfrotto. Everyone remember that Manfrotto monopod that we all used and suddenly is no longer cool? I busted that out several months ago and I'm just like, man, this is still gold. Love that thing. Worst one I have to think about. That's a really good question. I'd have to think really hard about that. Am I going to NAB? Really hope so. So I'm pretty much yes, unless something crazy happens. Do you recommend using a compressor gate hardware? So Grant, I am actually right now using the DBX. For voice stuff. So that's a good way to go if you're talking about, I think you're talking about live, right? Recording. then yeah, that's great. Let's see. Syncing to post, it's not an issue. Go to a bunch of 32-bit float recorders. Replace transmitter receivers. I'm not sure what you're asking about there. If syncing in post is not an issue. Yes. Yes, that would work, what you're describing. But you can't monitor it. That's the only difference. So if, a cable gets unplugged or something, you have no idea. And that's why wireless is still, a good option. Okay, so either I'm getting repeated questions or something's gone horribly wrong with the chat here. So I'm just going to go way down to the bottom and figure out what's going on. The Other Chef, $5 donation. I did your Sony A6400 desk setup and love it. Thanks. You are so welcome, and thank you for the $5. Okay, so people are talking about the M1 super fast. I'm thinking about getting a, let me know guys if any of you have used the M1 Mac Mini for streaming. Right now my MacBook is screaming over here in the corner, and I'd love to have just a budget-friendly Mac Mini in the corner of this room just for streaming. That'd be awesome. And to do it quietly would be great. Let's see. Delusional Arcade, $10 donations. Any tips on shooting an arcade lit only with a backlight and CRT monitors? Lumix G85. An arcade lit only with backlighting. You got to get some wrap on that. So one thing I'll often do is, let's say I'm lighting, this is the camera, we're facing me. I'll just turn this light off right now. Oh, boom. So let's pretend this light in the background here is the light you're using. Bring it around to the side as much as you can. So you're still getting backlight, but there's a little bit of wrap. And off camera here, I actually have a whiteboard or like a foam board, and you can stick that just out frame, something white, and you're gonna get just that wrap. You gotta bring that light around to the front of your object if you want something there. Otherwise, you can still film the CRT and see everything, but you wanna just wrap the light. That's been my favorite thing. Almost all my B-roll on the channel recently is actually mostly back, somewhat side, and then I'm kind of wrapping the light around with a whiteboard or like white foam board. Great question though, and thank you for the $10 donation. Can we do without DSLR? I gained 215 subscribers in mobile camera only. Can we do without? Yeah, sure. I think I understand your question. Alexi 5000W = currency. Thank you for the donation. Speed booster full frame or native speed boosted full frame or native super fast for Micro Four Thirds. I'm not sure what you're talking. Oh, I see what you mean. Speed booster with a full frame lens or native super fast Micro Four Thirds lenses. It's all up to size. So if you want something small, go with Micro Four Thirds. If you want a wider field of view and have money, speed booster for sure. I love speed boosters, unless again I'm trying to stay lightweight. Still using the MKH416? Yes, in the main space for the main shot. That's still the MKH416. Love it. Pretty tempted to invest in Fuji X-T4 because it seems like the best APS-C mirrorless camera in the market. Yeah, so I like the Fuji stuff. I just feel like I've had too many little weird things with it where it bothers me. But, everyone's different. So if I was going Super 35, I was okay with a weird bulky camera, I'd probably go... and I don't need autofocus, I would go with Blackmagic. Jake says, Caleb, join us on the Ecamm community Facebook group. Nice, maybe I'll do that. I haven't ventured down the halls on Facebook in a long time. 17 cameras in your collection, that is wild. All right, I'm jumping down. Oh, that's a good question. 4K, still worth it, or would you choose the 6K? If you can afford it, the 6K, and you don't want to deal with the field of view stuff, the 6K just looks so much better in my opinion. But the 4K is still great if you can, want to mess with grading a little bit. Team B Raw, Furworks. All right, jumping down to the... No, I don't have any GH6 info. I haven't received any chatty chats from Panasonic, and if they were talking to me, I wouldn't be telling you guys because ethics and stuff. Can you talk more about your upcoming ATEM case? So, Bob, that's coming up here. We're waiting on parts from China, as everyone is in the world, but it's coming along. I actually have the base of it right here, which I can kind of show you. This is the special edition Trooper White color. So the first person that buys the ATEM mini case will get this dank white setup. So you can see all the custom PCB stuff in there. So this slips into the bottom of the case. And then here's the lid. The display is much larger. We're now up to a little under 11 inches for the display. Buttons all over here. So that's going to go into the lid of the case. And really excited for that project. Just waiting on parts, man. Super annoying. What hardware are you using to encode your stream? I'm using Ecamm Live right now. Just going to YouTube with that. Have you tried Play Out B? Record Super Source Layout. No, I have not. Dean, I'll check that out. Okay, jump it down. Tommy Calloway, $5 donations. Any tips on grading footage from my 2015 Ford F-150's backup camera? No, but I'm jealous. I've been wanting to buy an F-150 forever. I did put down my down payment, or not down payment, my reservation fee for the 2022 F-150 Lightning, and I was so mad, so upset when I saw Peter McKinnon post a picture on Instagram with the Lightning truck. I was like, oh. It's so not fair. He already has like 2 F-150s. So anyway, looking forward to when that comes out. All right, let's see what's going on. How's the baby? Baby's good. Baby is good. Do you still recommend the Tilted Nucleus Nano with the S1? Yes, love it. Talking about a Nucleus Nano accessory build next Tuesday, so stay tuned for that, David. Dude, the chat's worse than ever. How is this possible, YouTube? I've been gone for a year and it's so much worse. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm going to have to scroll down to the bottom. I'm seeing like comments from the beginning of the stream somehow. At any rate, delusionals are... Nope, see, we did that, right? Oh, say, sorry about the delusional. Another $10. You didn't have to do that, man. I'm sorry. He says, I think you read my question wrong. I had said black lighting, not backlighting in arcade. Aha. Go for it. Try it. Give it a go. I think that'd be super interesting. Black lighting. Do they make filters you can put in front of your camera and see black lighting? That'd be kind of fun. Will you do one for the Extreme? Hopefully, Dean. I think as you talked about the ATEM mini case, the problem with that is we're outside of 3D printing land with something that big. So I'd have to get a laser cutter or have someone laser cut stuff for me. And then the cost goes up because I'm buying, so we're building 20 cases to start. Depending on how they do, we'll start making more and do batches per month, however many that'll be. But it's all up front, paying for everything in cash. So, you know, designing something for that big of a device and getting other manufacturers involved and things like that, not quite ready for that. But I definitely want to, for sure. But yeah, buying 50 Pelican cases, that was a tough bite. All right, let's see. Eduardo, just want to say huge fan, and I hate you because every time I see one of your videos, my bank account burns. I'm so sorry. I've had a lot of people say that, and a lot of angry spouses, wives, partners upset with me. So I can feel the pain there. Let's see, scrolling down, we've got some spam in here. Thoughts on the Amaran 200D? I think the 100D is a better buy. Unless you need like ridiculous output and you don't care about fan noise, then the 200D is great. But I think the 100D is the winner. Because how many of us jack our 120Ds to 100%? I would argue not many. Review your baby's specs. She's tall, 21.5 inches. I think I'm catching up here, guys. And again, I apologize for being all over the place. We'll probably go for another 5 minutes here. So lightning round time. Stream runs fine since it began. It's just the chat that sometimes gets stuck. Got it. Let me just go ahead and put this user in a timeout real quick. Good budget capture card. Cam link. Otherwise, on my $2,000 desk setup video, I talked about a $30 less, $15 capture card that does work. Built your ultimate streaming desk recently. It was such a great video. Thanks, David. I'm glad you liked it. Dan Watson, dude, what's going on? Good to see you, dude. And Alexi, 5,000 W with the equal sign going through it. Any alternative to A7S series for ultra low light? GH5S, A7 III isn't bad, although I can't do the old Sony stuff. A7S and up going forward. I'm so over the 8-bit thing. Yeah, GH5S is still pretty rad. It's not as good, but I would say that's a good place to go. Let's see here. Yeah, Dan Watson, good to see you, dude. Current recommendation for hybrid shooters body-wise. Probably still Canon or Sony. Just kind of boring answers, but my super chat got... Oh, Daniel, I missed a super chat. What? How? Where? Holy balls. Daniel, you son of a gun. $100. $100. Unbelievable, dude. I've been stealth binging a bunch of your content, lady. Tons of value, so thank you. Currently debating my Sony full frame A1 or A7S III. Another question mark. I literally need someone to make up my mind for me. Well, first of all, thank you for your incredible generosity. Once I get my live streaming graphics green screen stuff going, I'll have massive explosions, and you would have gotten the epic explosion, which is very rare. Wow, crazy. So that's a great question. If it was me, I would do the A7S III. Right now, that's kind of the sweet spot, right? $3,500. Great image quality. You know, it still has some things I don't love about it, but that's probably the current pick from me personally. I'm sure by now you've consumed all of Gerald's content because he's covered that exhaustively. If it's full frame and if it's Sony, he's got tons of videos on it. So that's what I would do if I were you. You know, pocket the cash, buy an A7S III or II, and then go buy some other sweet stuff for it. Or the rig that we'll talk about next Tuesday. But thank you so much for the donation, man. And Godspeed figuring out what camera you're going to go with. And sorry for missing that. Again, the chat is all over the place. It's not only jumping to the newest chat, but it's pushing me back. So I'm like bouncing up and down. So Ecamm, it's got to be Ecamm. I got to go with that Jake or whoever was telling me to do that. So now I'm scrolling back down. Thank you for letting me know I missed that because that would have been sad. Epic explosion implied. Yes. I don't know if you saw those old streams, but I had this sick explosion donation thing in the lower thirds. Would be crazy if Gerald Undone showed up. Nice. Yep. Love that, man. Now this is a quality stream. Thanks. I can't tell if you're serious or just pulling my leg. Sony 8-bit is horrible for color grading. 10-bit should be standard. Yes, absolutely, Chris. It is time. It's past time for them just to cut the cord. 10-bit 422 for everything. Even their 10-bit has issues. If you watch my A7S III video, that's still why I shoot on Panasonic for my main setup, is because Vlog is still the cleanest when it comes to color and easiest to just work with without little funky stuff going on. Not to mention, Sony's S-Log 3 with their own LUTs is if it's yellow, like that light in the background, or this tabletop, this on a Sony a7S III using their workflow would be green, like straight up on the vector scope, which is just too bad. Got a Blackmagic 4K with 12 to 35. Advice for narrative work. Are you talking about gear or just in general? And thank you for the $2 donation, Lone Tiger. 12 to 35 advice for narrative work. I mean, I would probably, if you're talking about lenses and camera gear, I'd go get yourself an adapter or two and some vintage lenses. I'd love 4K high resolution cameras with old glass. It's one of my favorite things. Okay, good. You're dead serious about the stream, Oliver. Either way is fine with me, but I appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Will you continue to review old cameras? Absolutely, Loom. I love old cameras. Bring them back. There's 3 more upcoming. One I almost canceled, but I was like, you know what? There's an old camera I'm going to talk about that you probably just shouldn't buy, but it's from a brand that is, you know, lusted after. So I'll probably still do it. Where have I been? Good to see you, Cecilia. I had a kid, and I essentially kind of started a manufacturing company on the side and took some time off at the beginning of the year, and it kind of trickled into here we are already, and it's whatever, the end of June. But we're coming back. Videos every week, streams more often, so it'll be a good time. How are your streams so fluid in movement? Shorter keyframe interval? I don't know. I've got really good internet, so I'm glad it's holding up on your end. I'm curious to see what the quality looks like afterward. Gotta go, but thank you, DSLR Vision. Thank you, Linda. Hope you have a wonderful evening. So you wouldn't recommend the a6400 anymore? What instead? So I still think Sony has great value for their 8-bit stuff, but I wouldn't use that for my main camera if possible. For desk setups and stuff like this, like I'm using a Canon RP. It's an old, meh camera. But for stuff like this, it's great. And I think for desk setups, the a6400 is wonderful. Amazing autofocus, really sharp. But for grading your footage and going out and filming something and bringing the footage in, I just always fight so much with the Sony footage. All right, folks, we're after 5. I'm going to run through these super chats here. Ben, thank you for helping me max out my credit card. Oh, Ben, I appreciate you and the donation, and you're welcome. FX3, Sony a7S III, that's a tough one. I think the FX3 is sweet, and I think I want to buy one. If you don't use an EVF and you want an XLR unit, go for it. What are you manufacturing? The A10 mini cases that we'll be talking about more on the channel. Guessing a red camera. Ooh, Daniel. Heyo. Using Ecamm, Moses, and James, £9.99. And he just says, thank you. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. That means a lot. What do we got here? Will you review the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera OG again? Throwback. You know what? I think I definitely should. There is a Blackmagic camera coming up, an older one. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for me to head home because I'm already breaking my rule that I talked about earlier. It's 5:04 and I'm still here, so I've got to fix that. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I'm really looking forward to doing more of these. And it's always good to see you. And I really hope we get to see each other in person. I just miss getting nerdy talk with my friends. So hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Again, for all those who super chatted, you're amazing. And for everyone for hanging out, I was kind of nervous, like live streaming, it's been a while. And it all worked so far. So let's do this. Next Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Let's do another one of these, shall we? Maybe we'll get some topics. Maybe we'll get some guests going on. But at any rate, love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful evening. And we'll see you next time.